All right. That pretty much the title for today. Hello, everybody. Now, this is the Gabby Mack Project. Now, that song, It's a Man's World, was released by Mr. James Brown in February 1966. And I still think it stands the test of time as being one of our men's anthem. Okay. Tonight's subject is, as I said, it's a man's world, as it should be. Fellas, westernized women have been trying to neuter men for the last 60 years. And many of us men have been quiet accomplices. What's that old saying about if you don't say something when something is wrong, you're giving someone the okay to do it or say it. And that's what we did. Now you see, with the women's liberation movement, the sexual revolution, and the more recent Me Too movement, men's masculinity has been under assault. And quite frankly, we haven't offered up much resistance until the last few years. And for that, I congratulate the manosphere for rising up and pushing back forcefully and unapologetically. Thank you, thank you, thank you for saying enough is enough. You know, I like to use the word duped when I talk about modern women. The word itself means, quote unquote, a person who's used to carry out the designs of another. And that definition perfectly illustrates how many so-called modern women have been used as foot soldiers for the female bourgeoisie feminists. Let me explain. You see, the high income, elitist women are the ones who truly benefited from the war on men. They get the real money and they get the prestigious positions, while the rank and file peasant women don't benefit at all. If you think I'm wrong, just go and ask a secretary, a teacher, a medical technician, a waitress, a saleswoman, that Uber driver. Ask them if the new wave feminism have benefited them. And I think the average woman will say it hasn't benefited them very much. However, these elite, high earning, high profile women of second and third wave feminism have benefited mightily. But they aren't finished because they continue to use the media and some ideologue professors to indoctrinate the impressionable young undergrad women. They tell them that patriarchy is evil. And to some degree, they have had success because men, in general, didn't push back. And an idea unchallenged is an idea accepted. It's my personal belief that men just didn't want to be called chauvinistic, so they kept quiet. And because most men were relatively quiet, modern women have become more emboldened and they want more and more. It's gotten to the point where they want it all. They want to run things. But that's not going to happen. You know why? Because to run things, you have to be able and willing to do everything. And women just are not going to do that. Just ask them how many of them are willing to go out and do the dirty, dangerous jobs that keep this country running. Not many, if any at all. They are what I call armchair quarterbacks. You see, they have become accustomed to working in air-conditioned cubicles and offices. and even your restaurants that shelter them from the elements. Fellas, it's about time for you to speak up, to remind them of who keeps this country going. It's you, it's you, and it's you. I know you don't think you are doing anything special in the grand scheme of things because all you see is yourself getting up every morning and night just doing your job. But if you put all those pieces that keep the country going, you are the one that keep this country going, not women. You see, you are the ones that work in all kinds of inclement weather, building the highways and roads, putting on a pair of overalls to go lay some bricks or pour some concrete. You, the men, get up on roofs to apply tar to prevent a building from leaking. You, the men, hang the electrical wire, excavate the sewer line, pick up the trash from the curbsides. You, the men, cut and clear trees. You, the men, bulldoze the land for new housing developments. And yes, it's you, men, who go up those large buildings and put those large beams on skyscrapers or install those large windows that females lean and look out of. And sadly, and sadly, roughly 5,000 of you men lose your lives each year performing these jobs so that women, modern women, can have an easier lifestyle with no thanks. And that doesn't say anything about the men in the military who literally put their lives on the line every day to keep the country safe. So, gentlemen, it's about time that you speak up and speak up loudly. I think it's about time for men to remind women how fortunate they are that they have men who are willing to go out and do this kind of work because they can't or they won't do it. You see, women in general enjoy working in safe, clean, quiet environments, such as the medical field, i.e., the hospital, banks as tellers, restaurants, etc., where they don't have to put their health and safety at risk or get dirty. Now, to be fair and balanced, I have to admit some women have contributed to society and the U.S. economy. You see, women invented the dishwasher, the touch-tone phone, and fiber optics, and a woman actually invented the circular saw. A woman invented Kevlar fiber that's used in body armor. A woman invented closed-circuit TV. And yes, a woman invented laser cataract surgery. To them, a loud shout out and thank you very much. But it doesn't change what I said. In the beginning, modern women have been duped. They refuse to know their role and play their position. But thankfully, I believe there are a lot of traditional women who have rejected the modern women ideology. And they don't think that patriarchy is a bad thing. And you know what? In 2016, they let their voices be heard when they helped elect Donald J. Trump as president, a man's man. Now, Trump was a man who was unapologetic about being a man. And I believe traditional women gravitated towards him because of his direct, assertive, masculine leadership style. Everyone has flaws, and he's no different. But You got to take the good with the bad. So, what they saw in him was a man that they could see leading this country. And I say, bravo to them. Now, in closing, here's Gary Mack's 25 cents. Fellas, fellas, don't fret. Women are loud, they're making a lot of noise. And they have their male assistants in the media who are supporting them. But don't buy into the BS and do not despair. Here's the real deal. We men are still in control, and we're going to continue to be in control and run things. For example, I'm going to read off a whole lot of stats, so stay with me. 100% of AP computer science tests taken were by men. 100% of Wall Street CEOs are men. 87% of venture capital firms are run by men. 97% of TV and radio license owners are owned by men. 95% of Fortune 500 companies are run by men. 90% of tech jobs in Silicon Valley are done by men. 85% of corporate executives are men. 84% of mayors of the top 100 cities are run by men. And although women make a lot of noise in the Capitol, 80% of congressmen are men. 78% of state political executives are men. 75% of state legislators are men. And 73% of the top media execs and managers are men. And 68% of all U.S. circuit judges are men. So men, fear not, fret not. We're in good shape. We're running stuff. We're going to continue to run stuff. Gabby Mack, O-U-T.